everybody, happy Friday. I can't believe it's Friday already. I hope you've had a lovely week learning all about shapes. So the last part of today is you're going to be going on a bit of a treasure hunt today. Okay, to get us started this morning, we're going to be looking at some questions. So I'd like you first of all to tell me the time on the analogue clock. Again, for a bonus point, you can turn it into digital once you find the analogue. Then for number 1, you are finding 1/3 of the number of oranges. Now remember, we need to work out how many oranges we've got in total first before we can find a third. Then for number 2, we're writing 7/10 as a decimal. So reading it carefully, thinking about setting up our columns. Number 3, you're adding 3 meters and 20 centimeters to 2 meters and 55 centimeters. And number 4, you're finding the sum, finding the total of 462 and 229. Have a go at doing that. Once you've had a go at doing that, play the video and then we can have a look to see if you've got them right and you've shown the correct working out as well. So let's have a look at the analogue clock. So let's first of all look at our minutes. So our minute hand is the longest one again. So we need to see, first of all, is it on the past side or the 2? Well, we can see it's not yet at the 6, so we can see that it is past. Okay, and now if we start from the 12 with our fingers and we count, now remember we can count in 5s because between every number there is 5. We can count 5, 10, 15, 20. So I know it is 20 minutes past. And then I can see what my hour has gone past. My hour has gone past the 6. It is not yet at the 7. So we would say it is 20 minutes past 6. So if you've got that, fantastic. For a bonus point, can we write it as a digital clock? Remembering that our hour goes first before our colon, and we need 2 minutes, 2 numbers for our minutes after. Now, because when we do our digital, we're saying how many numbers pass. So I can see it's gone past the 6, so it's 6. And I can see it's gone 20 minutes past, so it is 20 minutes past 6 or 6:20. So if you've got that, fantastic, well done. So number 1, we are trying to find 1/3 of the number of oranges. So the first thing we need to do is we need to count how many oranges we have. So I've drawn it out again. I'm going to count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 oranges in total. And what we want to find is we want to find 1/3 of 12 because we want to know that there's 12 oranges and I want 1/3 of them. So you should have wrote it out as 1/3 as of 12 because there's 12 oranges in total. Then I know, looking at my fraction, I know I'm going to have it in parts of 3. So I can draw either my bar model into parts of 3 equals parts, or alternatively you could have done 3 circles. It's up to you how you wanted to do it. Then I'm going to share 12, because that's my total number, between my parts. So I'm going to count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I should have done the same in here as well if you had done it using circle methods. Alternatively, you could have just done 12 divided by 3 because that's our denominator, to find that in each one that there are 4 in each. So because I only want to know what 1 part is worth, I can see that 1 part is going to be worth 4. So your answer is worth 4. So because if I split it now into groups of 4, you can see that I have got 3 groups, which is what my denominator is, 3 groups of 4. Okay, so I'd like you to have a go at doing this question now to really make sure that we've understood how to do it. So this one, I want you to find what 1/5 of the oranges is. So I want you to think about how we just showed our working out previously, and I want you to go and have a go at doing this one. If you need to draw the oranges out, you can, to count them, or if you need to just show your working out on a piece of paper, that would be also fantastic. Once you've done that and you know what 1/5 of the oranges is, then you can press play and see if you have got the answer correct. Okay, so let's have a look. So first thing I needed to do was count the total number of oranges. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have 15 oranges is my total. Remember, this is also an array, so we could have counted that there are 3 down and there are 5 across. So we didn't need to count them all up. We could have just done 3 times 5 equals 15 to find out how many there are altogether. That would just be a quicker way of doing it rather than actually counting every single one. So now I know that there are 15 oranges. You should have wrote the number sentence that I want to find 1/5 of 15. Okay, so that's where we should be up to. Now, in order to work out what 1/5 of 15 is, we need to look at our number of parts. So I have got 5 parts because that is my denominator. So you could have either used circles and drawn 5 parts, or you could have drawn it as a bar model and drawn 5 parts in your bar model. Then I want to share out, because remember, I am doing here 15 divided by 5. Now, some of you might have done that straight away to find the answer. However, if you haven't, you will have need to have shared 15, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and to write down how many was in each one, and we would have seen that in each part there is 3, so I know that 1/5 of 15 is 3. If, however, I said that I wanted to know what 2/5 of 15 were, I would need to work it out exactly the same. However, I now want to count, I want 2 parts, so I can count 3, 6, so I would know 2 parts would be worth 6. If I wanted to know what 3/5 were, I would count 3 parts, so I would count 3, 6, 9, and 3 parts would be worth 9. So that's just that next step. Well done if you've got those right. Okay, so we're going to have a look at writing 7/10 as a decimal. So I first of all needed to write 7/10, and I want to do it as a decimal. So I need to do my place value columns with my decimal point and my tenths, and you could always put your hundredths in as well. So looking at this then, I know that I have got 7/10. Now if I look at my denominator, I know I'm going to put it in my tenths column. So I now need to look at my numerator, and my numerator is 7, so I'm going to put 7 in my tenths column. Now I then need to put my decimal point, and I need to put, as I've got an empty column here, we can't just leave it as 0.7, we must put a 0 in. Okay, I'd like you to have a go at doing this one now. So setting it up like this, I'd like you to have a go, listen to what I say first, and then you're going to go and do it. Can you write 4/10 as a decimal? So set it out like I've done here. Can you write 4/10 as a decimal? Have a go and then pause the video, have a go and then have a look to see if you've got the answer right. Okay, so I said, can you write 4/10? So you should have wrote 4/10 as a fraction first of all, and I want to write this as a decimal. So again, because I'm looking at my tenths column, I need to look in my tenths column. I then need to have a look at my numerator. My numerator is 4, so my 4 would go in my tenths column. I would put my decimal point, because we cannot move the decimal point. As there's nothing before my decimal point, I would put a 0, so it would be 0.4. I'm going to give you one more example to do. So can you have a go at writing 8/10 as a decimal? Pause the video now, have a go at doing 8/10 as a decimal, and then play to see if you get it correct. Okay, so I said, can you write 8/10? So you should have wrote it as a fraction like this first. Then as a decimal, you are going to have a go at looking, right, well, I know it's going to be in my tenths column because it's tenths is my denominator. I know that 8 is my numerator, so I know my 8 is going to go in my tenths column. I'm going to put in my decimal point, and because there's nothing before the decimal point, I would put a 0. Okay, number 3, add 3 meters and 20 centimeters to 2 meters and 55 centimeters. So I'm going to write out 3 meters and 20 centimeters, add 2 meters and 55 centimeters. Now there's a few ways that we can do it. I'm going to show you both ways. So the first way we could do is we could first of all look at our meters and add our meters. So I've got 3 meters, add 2 meters, which we know nice and easy would be 5 meters. Once I've added my meters, I can then add my centimeters. So I could do 20 centimeters, add 55 centimeters, equals. Now for this, because I've got 0 in my ones column, I know that my ones column isn't going to be different than the 5 in it, because I'm going to add 2 tens to 55. So I can do 0 add 5 is 5, 2 add 5 is 7, so I know I've got 75 centimeters. Alternatively, you could have used column method to help you work it out. So I know that my answer is going to be 5 meters and 75 centimeters. So well done if you've got that. So that's one way you could have done it. Another way you could have done it would be you could have converted them all into centimeters and then added them. So for example, in 1 meter I know, so in 1 meter there are 100 centimeters. So in 3 meters, I know there are going to be 300 centimeters plus your 20, so I'm going to have 320 centimeters. Have a go now. What is 2 meters and 55 centimeters going to be? And then play the video. Okay, so I know that 1 meter is 100 centimeters, so I know 2 meters is going to be 200 centimeters. Add your 55, which is 255 centimeters. Now to work this out, some of you might be able to spot it straight away. You could add your 0 add 5 is 5 in your ones column, 2 add 5 in your tens column is 7, and 3 add 2 in your hundreds column is 5. However, you might not be able to do that off the top of your head, so you could use your column method to do 320, add 255. Start in your ones column, remember? 0 add 5 is 5, 2 add 5 is 7, 3 add 2 is 5, so your answer is 575 centimetres. Or if you convert it back into meters and centimetres, I know there are 100 centimetres in 1 metre, so if there's 500 centimetres, that will be 5 metres, and the leftover is 75 centimetres. So well done if you have got that. Okay, so I'd like you to have a go at doing this one that I've done now, just as a practice, because this one there might need to be some exchanging, so you might have to think of how to work this one out. So it says add 5 metres and 23 centimetres to 4 metres and 82 centimetres. Can you please have a go at doing that now on a piece of paper or on a whiteboard if you've got a whiteboard, and then once you have done that you can play the video to see if you've worked it out correctly. So, looking at this, I could either add my meters, 5 metres and 4 metres, and 23 centimetres and 82 centimetres. However, if we look at my centimetres, I know I've got 80 and 20, and I know my number bonds to 100 would be 80 and 20 is 100. So I'm going to actually find more another metre. So what I would suggest for this one, you could do it that way. So you could do 5 metres, add 4 metres, which equals 9 metres. Then you could have done 23 centimetres at 82 centimetres, and you might have needed to do column method for this one. Biggest number at the top, 82 add 23, which got you the answer 8 add 2 is 10. So once you had exchange, you got 105 centimetres. However, remembering that 105 centimetres is actually, we have got, because there's 100 centimetres in a metre, 105 centimetres is also the same as 1 metre and 5 centimetres. So if you did it this way, you would have needed to then have added 9 metres add the 1 metre, which would be 10 metres, and then add your 5 centimetres, which would be 10 metres, 5 centimetres. So this could have been the first way you did it. Alternatively, you might have found this other way a better way. So you could have converted 5 metres and 23 centimetres. So there's 100 centimetres in a metre, so there's 500 centimetres in 5 metres plus your 23. So I've got 523 centimetres, add, I've got 400 because I've got 4 metres and 82 centimetres there. So now if I did my column method, I would start in my ones column. 3 add 2 is 5. 2 add 8 is 10. So remember, I can't put 2 digits in, so I'd have to put my 0 in my tens column and exchange my 10 tens for 100 and put my little one under the hundreds column. Then 5 add 4 is 9. Add your 1 is 10. So again, I would have to exchange. So then I have got 1005 centimetres. However, if I wanted to convert it into metres and centimetres, I know there are 100 metres in 1 metre, so if I count out 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1000, I know I've got 10 metres and I have got 5 centimetres, not 50 centimetres because my 5's in my ones column. Well done, fantastic if you've got that. Finally, number 4, it said find the sum of 462 and 229. So if I worked that out, I would need to, if I'm finding the sum, another word for sum is the total, so I need a bigger number, so I'm going to need to add 462, add 229, and you should have used a column method for this one to double check your answers. 9 add 2, 9, 10, 11. Remembering I can't put 11 in here, so 1 has to go in my ones column, and I'm exchanging those 10 ones for 1 10, so my little one goes under my tens column, and you can see there that it looks like 11. Then in my tens column, 6 add 2 is 8, add your 1 is 9, and then finally 4 add 2 is 6, so your answer is 691. Well done if you've had a go at that and done fantastic on that. Excellent work. So a quick recap on our 2D shapes. So we've got all 2D shapes ranging from one-sided being a circle to triangle being 3-sided. We've got our quadrilaterals, which are our 4-sided shapes, our square and our rectangle, pentagon, which is our 5-sided shape, hexagon, which is our 6, heptagon is 7, octagon is 8, nonagon is a 9-sided shape, and a decagon, excuse me, is a 10-sided shape. And then we've been having a look at our 3D shapes. So yesterday we did lots of work on looking at those, thinking about describing them using vertices and edges and bases. So obviously we've got some examples here. We've got a cone, a cylinder, sphere, square base pyramid, a cube, a triangular prism, and a cuboid, and a tetrahedron, I can't say that word, a tetrahedron, which obviously we didn't have a look at yesterday, but that's just another type of a 3D shape as well. So your task today is to look around the house, look around your room, the garden, and I want you to identify as many objects as you can to show which ones are 2D shapes and which ones are 3D shapes. And you can present this however you like. You can take pictures of it, you can split your page in half just like I've done here and tell me all the 2D shapes and all the 3D shapes. So it's completely up to you what you want to do and how to show it, but I'd love to see you going on a bit of a treasure hunt to find as many shapes as possible and where you have seen these shapes as well. So it could be on the top of a table, it could be the table itself, so I'd love to be able to see that. So please put all your work on Seesaw and I'd love to see that.